Hello everybody, welcome to my channel, welcome back if you are a regular. Today we are building a real life house in The Sims, and this is the Frank Gehry Winton Guesthouse. It was designed in the 1980s, 1983, 1982, and it was originally commissioned to be a guest house for a couple's grandchildren. I think now, I didn't do a deep dive with my research. I'll post some links down below if you're curious. You also have a friendly friend. You also have a thing called Google, so you could always do a deep dive yourself. But it's now been relocated to a school and is open to the public or used as a conference center hall room thing. So that's cool. It's one of Frank Gehry's only buildings open, like private buildings open to the public, because it was built to be like residential, if that makes sense what I'm saying. If you don't know who Frank Gehry is, he built the Guggenheim, I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong, and also the Walt Disney Opera House, I think that's what it's called. He's really well known for his sculptural style, and that's one of the reasons he's one of my favorite architects, is I think he's just really creative, and I like reading his interviews because he's sarcastic and funny. I did a report on this house back when I was an interior design major, long time ago, and I've just kind of been fascinated and obsessed with it ever since. I think it's really interesting. He came at the building from sort of a different perspective. So the idea is that there's 6 independent and unique shapes, each serving one singular function. So one of the shapes is like an office. One of the shapes is a living room. And then they're all compiled together. It almost looks like a set of children's blocks with entryways passing into one another. So then it becomes a house. But otherwise they're independent of each other. And I don't know, I think that's very different than I live in America, where we're all really into like the open floor plan and Americana, white picket fence, nuclear family, American dream. And this is not feeding into that. And so it's different. It's interesting. I had a kind of a difficult time building it into The Sims. I like taking real life homes and real life buildings because I feel like it's a puzzle, it's a challenge, and it's really satisfying to nail it and get it looking right. But one of the shapes for this build is really organic and curved. It's got like a curved roof and the walls, and so adapting that into The Sims and having it translate the same was a bit of a challenge. I built this over like a month ago. I build a lot and I just don't have enough time to edit it and put it out when it's been built. But this was before I started playing around with the tool mod, and I think if I had been using the tool mod at the time, maybe I could have done something interesting with the roof. But instead I just decided to sort of turn it into a closed patio, and that way it's still got like this curved shape, but it's not, I don't know. Tell me what you think. I think I did good. I like what I did. I think it's fun. Doing this has also pushed me to like rethink how I build houses for my Sims that aren't based on anything. I think when you build from different architectural styles, it pushes you to rethink your defaults. So like when I'm building a suburban house, I tend to have an entryway and the living room's off to the left, and then there's a kitchen, and then there's the dining room, and then you put the stairs here, and they all sort of feel the same. And when you do something like this, it really pushes you to think differently about a space. So the kitchen in this house is really small because it's basically a hallway, and the living room is a square and has doors on all 4 sides. So I think I went with 3 sides, maybe it's just 3 sides. But so like, how do you use that space efficiently so that they can still route through, but it still is usable and pretty? I just think it's really fun to mix it up like that. So the long red rectangle in the real life house build, whatever you want to call it, is meant to be more of a garage space. But since we don't have cars that seemed like a waste of space, and I didn't want this to be a 1-bedroom house. I wanted it to at least have 2 bedrooms so that if you wanted to download this, it looks very good in Brindleton BT dubs. I wanted it to be more functional than just having like 1 bedroom. If you want to put a family here, you could. It's a very alternative, modern family home in a way. And the trick of using a closet as the garage doors, I got from a build that Let's Play K downloaded for one of her Let's builds. And I will do a deep dive, and I will link the creator for that, because I saw that and I thought it was genius. I never used those modern closets. It worked perfectly for this build. It was the right color and everything. It's just, oh, chef's kiss. It looked beautiful. I just kissed at my microphone. Yep, we did that. We did that. What else can I say about this build? Yeah, so generally when I approach building a real life house into The Sims, I just go for the basic shell, and I look at what the original floor plan was, and then I alter it to fit my needs a bit better. So the original guest house doesn't really have a garden, but if this is someone's house for gameplay purposes, you want a yard, and you want a pool, and you want gardening space. So I definitely made those types of alterations. And windows. I think I added more windows than the actual house has. In fact, there's an interview or an article written by an art professor, and she mentions that if you look at the guest house from certain perspectives, you don't see any doors or windows, and so it almost looks like a sculpture sitting on the lawn and not a house. That's not really the case for the Sims version. I put lots of windows. Not lots of windows, a reasonable amount of windows. I am a little sad. We have those giant rectangular modern windows from, I think it's Get Famous, and they're gorgeous, and the frame color, the reddish wood tone was perfect for this. It was like a complete match. But on one side you have this beautiful thin wooden modern frame, and on the other side you have this big ugly block concrete thing. And so I played with the idea of having it backwards so that from the outside it looked good, and then on the inside I would just have this big ugly concrete, but I couldn't make it look good, and I'm sad. I think I still used them, but it's got the big ugly concrete thing, and it just makes me so sad because it was so close. It was such a close match. It was so beautiful. And there are some other color choices that just don't look good in The Sims like they do in real life, so I changed them to make it look better. I wanted the upstairs loft area to be usable, so I put a ladder in, and it's like a art studio thing. So I hope you like that. You're welcome. You didn't ask, but you're welcome. There's a laundry room basement thing downstairs. That's fun. I didn't post any share any screenshots. I'm sorry. I don't really use screenshots myself. Let me start over that sentence. When I watch someone else's speed build, I don't usually look at the screenshots. I like sharing screenshots. I like taking screenshots. I think they're really pretty, but I don't like them in videos. But I don't have time today to do a build tour, which I would prefer to do at the end of a video. So in the future, I might do that and then not have screenshots. But today you get screenshots, and it's before I used reshades, so they're not as aesthetically pleasing as they could be, but it's a cool build, so they're still pretty aesthetically pleasing, in my opinion. I had a lot of fun playtesting this house. I accidentally started a new family and started playing around in it, and that's been happening a lot lately, where I just need a sim to playtest the build, and all of a sudden I want to have a whole new legacy and play through their family for 6 generations, and it's just not reasonable. I can't do that. I don't have time to do that. Building for me is very cathartic. I get an image of an idea, and maybe it's a custom furniture piece, or maybe it's a corner of a bedroom, maybe it's an entire shell idea or concept, and it's like an itch that I have to scratch. I have to get it out of my body. I have to regurgitate it onto the screen. I need to see it come to life. Otherwise, it just kind of haunts me. Like, I just am stuck sitting around with this idea. And that's kind of what my upside down house was. It was this concept in my head, and I needed to make it happen. I needed to just get it out on the screen. And I started a 64 by 64 lot last night, and it's the same idea. Like, it's just one teeny tiny, I mean, if you were to put a room around it, it's probably like a 3 by 3 feature that doesn't need to be on such a big lot. But I have this image of what it could be, and so I've started it, and it's gonna take me so long. I spent, I think, 4 or 5 hours on it yesterday, and it's not even near being done. Not even close. And like I said, I've had this one done for a month, and it took a while to get a chance to even edit it. So who knows when you'll see the 64 by 64 lot. The upside down cottage, I built that like 2 weeks ago, and it took until last week to get it put out. So I build a lot, and I wish I had more time, but I am a full-time student, and I do have like a part-time archaeology thing that I'm doing online. Sorting through data, which has been really boring. It's really boring. I'm working on a project right now where I have to sort through people's like survey responses, and they're just saying the same thing over and over and over, but then there's a light sprinkling of a couple racist archaeologists. And as someone who hasn't finished their archaeology degree yet, and I'm not like job searching yet, it's a little intimidating to hear my future peers complaining about each other. And I am scared. And every industry has black sheep that taint the community, but it's a little scary. It's a little scary, especially right now. Every job market is crashing. You know what? We're not going to get into that. Let's talk about nifty knitting. I'm so excited for nifty knitting. I'm so ridiculously exciting. So ridiculous. Oh my god, I can't talk today. I'm so sorry. I've only had 1 cup of coffee. I have so much homework to do later today. I hope that you enjoy listening to me rambling. When I watch speed builds, it's usually to hear people chat, and maybe I'll watch the build for a little bit, but it's usually for background sound. So I like to assume that you're here doing the same thing. If not, it's fine. Just skip around. You do. Oh dear Lord. Nifty knitting. I really want to, when I get the pack, make someone for my upside down house, and then add like rocking chairs and some nifty knitting clutter pieces, because I think that's perfect. But I'm also so excited to make like a bullet journaling YouTuber's crafting office. And I know exactly what she looks like. She's a suburban mom, and she just has a lot of pens, and she started knitting because her friends started knitting, and she's got like a whole crafting YouTube, and I'm so pumped. I'm gonna make her like a cute little YouTubing corner. I'm gonna post out that tool mod to make that desk look a little less modern, because it's way too modern for a crafting mom. But I'm excited. Are you guys excited for nifty knitting? I know some people are a little disappointed, but it was a community voted pack, so at least we can confidently say a majority of people were interested in it and are excited for it. I think it says a lot about the community and what type of gameplay they do, because we voted first for a laundry day pack and now nifty knitting. Like, I feel like it just sums up a lot of us are playing out our suburban fantasies. That's definitely how I play. I build these crazy houses, but when I'm actually doing gameplay, it's usually like suburban families and just trying to get the kids to earn all of the good traits and get A+, and I end up stressing myself out because the sim didn't get enough sleep, but she needs to finish her school project. There's a reason I don't share my gameplay to YouTube. I don't think it would be very interesting. It would be probably funny to see my reactions, because I get really wound up about them not listening to me. But I don't think from a gameplay perspective it would be very interesting, because it's literally just the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over. I think my builds are much more interesting. My builds are where I want to brag about my builds. I don't want to share my gameplay with you. Sorry. I do think it's interesting though that there's this, I discovered like the Let's Play gaming YouTube community, I think about like 3 or 4 years ago, and I was just so fascinated because I never knew it was a thing to watch other people play video games. And I guess when I break it down, it makes sense to me. Growing up, I loved to watch my dad play video games, and like now I watch my wife play video games. But I never thought about like watching strangers play video games. And here I am now, part of the community. It's just, I don't know, it's such a weird, once you sit down and watch it, it makes sense. But if you think about it abstractly, it doesn't make any sense. Like, why would you watch someone else play a video game? Why wouldn't you just play it yourself? But it's so interesting. It's so interesting how differently we all play the same game. And like, yeah, you can download mods and custom content, and that changes it up a little bit. Or maybe someone has packs that you don't have. But at the core of it, like, we're all playing the exact same game, and we're all playing it so differently. Isn't that fascinating? It makes my heart warm. I love seeing what you guys are doing. I love seeing screenshots of people's like legacies or builds that they're doing or weird funny moments. It's been a lot of fun. I spend way too much time on Twitter, but I'm having fun. And in this time of global trauma, I think that is allowable. I think I'm allowed to do things that make me happy. Speaking of things that make me happy, I'm not gonna gush about it too much because I know that she can be a polarizing topic, but Taylor Swift's new album came out and I literally haven't listened to any other music since. I've been falling asleep to it every single night, and I've been having such wonderful, whimsical, magical dreams, and she may be part of my inspiration for my giant 64x64 lot. Just putting out some hints. Keep an eye out. Subscribe if I have made you curious. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm staring at a bird outside my window, and so I'm not really focused on what words I'm saying. If I've piqued your curiosity, there's a sentence. If I've piqued your curiosity about my giant 64x64 whimsical lot influenced by Taylor Swift, you should subscribe. And then I will share it with you. If you like this build, you should go watch my Robbie House build, because that was built early on in my channel. It was like a month ago. That's also a real life build. That was the point I was trying to make. It's also a real life build. That one was originally designed by Frank Lloyd Wright, who's my other favorite architecture. Oh my god. Hello, my name is Rayleigh. I'm the captain of the struggle bus. All aboard. Oh, that's a train, isn't it? Oh, God. Ruining my own bits. The Robbie House was a house built by Frank Lloyd Wright in the early 1900s, and it's also one of my favorite houses. It was influenced by, or I was influenced to build it because I had learned about it in a children's book when I was younger. But I'm also realizing that my two favorite architects are both named Frank. So that's an interesting realization. Ooh! Do you like architecture? Do you have a favorite architect? Who's your favorite architect? Comment down below. Wow, this is a really long speed build. Okay, what else can I talk to you about? I have to go do homework. I had a class start last week that I still haven't looked at the course site of, and it's agroecology, and if that means what I think it means, it's about different agricultural methods and like the anthropology of agriculture, basically. And I'm excited. I think it's going to be really interesting, and I'm excited to learn about farming and sustainable farming and people who farm. Were you guys upset about not getting a farming pack? Farming pack is pretty polarizing too. People get really wound up about the farming pack. So yeah, let's just start all the drama. Tell me all of your unpopular opinions in the comments, and it'll really confuse people who only watch the first 5 minutes of this video, and then y'all here at the end, you'll be like, yeah, I just don't think that it's ethical, and they'll be like, what is going on in this voiceover? What did I miss? And then they'll stay. It's a great plan. Do you get it? Do you understand the plan? Okay, so right now, comment something about a divisive, polarizing Sims topic. We're gonna keep it Sims related, please. Please don't. Oh God, what have I done? Maybe I should take this all back. Oh no. Okay, well, we're at screenshots. Hopefully I've talked long enough that when I edit all of this down, I don't not have enough voiceover, because I really need to get started on homework. I can't do this all day. I hope you like this build. I hope you like my rambling. I will have a new build with me coming out later this week. I just need to sit down and finish editing it. Those take me so long to edit, and speed builds are much easier to edit, to be honest. And I just want it to be what I want it to be, so it means I have to take my time. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Hit that like button, because I've been told that's good. Hit subscribe, because that means a little bit more to me than the like button does. And comment something, because that helps push this through the algorithm. Thank you so much for listening. Goodbye.